we're going to do the final chapter of the first part. So, yesterday we discussed how Krishna was lying on his bed. He covered his whole body with the chadar or bed sheet, and he didn't get up because he was feeling the separation from the residents of Vrindavan very intensely due to some dreams he had that night. Then Narad Muni went there in order to meet Uddhava, and then as Narad Muni started to glorify Uddhava as a great devotee, then Uddhava reminded Narad Muni that previously he himself also used to think that he was the greatest devotee of Krishna. But ever since he went to Vrindavan, that idea he gave up because he saw the very elevated position of the residents of Vrindavan, especially the gopis. And at that time, different devotees made various comments. Mother Rohini made some comments. She told Uddhava, don't remind me of the gopis because their condition is so pathetic that even to think of it, even when I think of it, my heart breaks. And then Padmavati made some comments. Padmavati started saying how badly the residents of Vrindavan treated Krishna. Krishna had to stay in the house of Nanda Maharaj, and Nanda Maharaj made Krishna work like a menial servant. He sent him to the field, pasturing ground, taking care of the cows, and didn't even buy him a pair of shoes. He had to go barefoot. And when Krishna stole some milk, they didn't feed him properly. And when he became hungry, he stole some milk or yogurt. Then Mother Jasoda tied him up and chastised him. And then Mother Rohini ignored Padmavati and started making further comments about the condition of the gopis and how Krishna is so unconcerned about them. As if when Krishna had to stay there, he was there, and when he was there, because of him, in Vrindavan there was so much disturbance. Just because of Krishna, Vrindavan was attacked by the demons time and time again. And they had to undergo so many difficulties. And now Krishna doesn't even remember the residents of Vrindavan. At that time, Rukmini Devi reminded Rohini Devi that that's not true. Because at night, in sleep, Krishna calls out the residents of Vrindavan by their names. He calls out Mother Jasoda and asks her to give him some butter. He calls out the name of Srimati Radharani, Lalita, Chandravali. So, at that time, Satyabhama also interrupted and said, why only at night? Even during the day, even during daytime, when Krishna is awake, Krishna actually behaves in such a way that he behaves in such a way as if the gopis of Vrindavan are so dear to him that the position of the queens of Vrindavan, queens of Dwarka, doesn't even equal to the maidservant of the gopis. And then Balaram started to say something also. He said that Krishna simply pretends as if he's missing the residents of Vrindavan so much. Now, if he really misses them so much, then why doesn't he go there? And once Balaram went and stayed in Vrindavan for 2 months, and he saw the condition of the residents of Vrindavan. And he felt that unless Krishna goes there, nothing can actually save them. They're going to die. Those who are alive, they're also going to die. So at that time, Krishna could not restrain himself. He just got out of his bed and started to cry. and he said that if I could do anything for them to console them, I would do that. And in this way, lamenting, and Balaram also started to lament the position or their separation from the residents of Vrindavan. And both the brothers, embracing each other, started to cry, and then they fainted. And when they fainted, then the residents, Rukmini, Satyabhama, Rohini, Padmavati, Uddhava, they all started to cry. And the sound of their cry reached the Sudharma assembly, and Ugrasen and other members of the family just rushed into the inner chamber of Krishna's palace, wondering what actually happened. So now we will continue from that point onwards. Chapter 7. Chapter 7 actually, this is entitled as the recipient of complete mercy. So now we'll find out who is the greatest recipient of Krishna's mercy. Who is the greatest devotee of Krishna? The sound of the Jadavas crying spread throughout the universe. Brahma arrived in Krishna's palace along with the personified Vedas and demigods. He saw that his father, Krishna, had attained a unique state of bewilderment due to his separation from his dearest one. Losing his composure, Brahma also cried for a while, but then he thought of a means to cure his lord. He called Garuda and asked him to carry Krishna and Balaram to Raivatak mountain in the saltwater ocean where Vishwakarma had built an artificial Vrindavan. Only Rohini Devi was allowed to go there. Why was Rohini Devi allowed to go there?
She was the only one that lived in the
Yeah. Of all those present there, Rohini Devi was the only one who was in Vrindavan when Krishna was there. In New Vrindavan, where Vishwakarma had made a replica of Vrindavan with statues of Gopas and Gopis, Garuda very carefully placed Krishna on a bed. And in the meantime, Balaram came back to his senses and understood Brahma's arrangement. Balaram came back to his senses and he understood what actually happened. That they were actually brought to Raivatak mountain where Vishwakarma built New Vrindavan. Unable to leave Krishna in such a state, Devaki, Rukmini, Satyabhama and Padmavati also arrived in New Vrindavan with Uddhav. But due to Brahma's request, they stayed out of sight. Narad stayed invisible in the sky. And Narad Muni has the ability even to stall in the sky. So he was up there, somewhere in the sky, watching what's going on. So all of them were out of sight. Narad stayed invisible in the sky so that he could see the pastime of the Lord. Garuda also remained in the sky, spreading his wings to protect his Lord from the sun. Balaram quickly washed his mouth and then washed his brother's lotus-like mouth. He then stuck a flute in Krishna's belt. Krishna in Dwarka was dressed as a king, but Balaram understood Brahma's arrangement. So he made arrangements so that when Krishna comes back to his senses, he would feel that he's back in Vrindavan. So he stuck a flute in Krishna's waist, Krishna's belt. He also decorated Krishna with a buffalo horn cane, garland of kadamba flowers, and a crown of peacock feather. And so this is how Krishna is dressed in Vrindavan. Vetro, Venu, Vishan. Vetra means a cane. The cane is meant for controlling the cows. Venu is a buffalo horn. And Bishan is also another kind of flute. And a peacock feather crown and a kadamba flower garland. He then picked Krishna up from the bed and told him, Krishna, Krishna, wake up. See, all your friends are waiting for you. Due to their affection for you, our parents are not able to say anything to you. See, the gopis are whispering in each other's ears. Most probably, they're making fun of you. Krishna woke up and upon opening his eyes, saw Nanda Maharaj and offered him obeisance.
Was Krishna actually sleeping or was he
He was unconscious.
unconscious?
But unconscious and sleep and sleep also is an unconscious state.
Yeah. They say that if someone faints and they wake up and
Yeah, when one wakes up from fainting, then he feels that he woke up as if he woke up from a sleep. Upon opening his eyes, he saw Nanda Maharaj and offered him obeisance. He then told his mother laughingly, "Mother, I dreamt this morning that I went to Mathura and killed Kamsa and other such wicked demons. I then built a great city called Dwarka on the bank of the ocean." Krishna felt as if whatever happened to him in the recent past was nothing but a dream. And when he saw Mother Jasoda, these are all the statues built by Vishwakarma. But they're so real that even Krishna thought that they were his actual father and mother. His mother did not say anything. Krishna thought his mother was worried about his health and consoled her saying, "Mother, it is due to the dream that I was so late to get up today." He then told Balaram, "If you don't think that my dream is impossible, then I'll describe it to you in detail while we go to the forest." He told Balaram that if you don't think that I had some absolutely weird dream, then I'll tell you while we go to the forest. Krishna then stretched out his hands to his mother for the food for their picnic in the forest. Rohini Devi quickly told Krishna, at least some were alive, yeah? Some were active and reciprocating. So Krishna, like Baladev and Rohini were there, and that made Krishna feel as if everyone was real. So Rohini Devi quickly told Krishna, your mother was extremely worried today due to your sleeping so late. Therefore do not speak to her too much now. I will prepare the foodstuffs and send them to the forest. Krishna then stole the butter from his mother's hand and looked for Balaram to share it. But Balaram had already gone into the forest with the cows, and therefore he did not eat it. Mother Jasoda was holding some butter, or there was some butter in Mother Jasoda's hand. So this was also created by Vishwakarma. But Krishna stole the butter. But if Krishna ate the butter, then he would have realized that it was not real butter. Then all the fun would have been spoiled. So Jogomaya made the arrangement that Jogomaya sent Balaram forward, and Krishna could not share it with Balaram, therefore Krishna didn't eat. Krishna always offers everything to Balaram first, and then he takes it. On the way, Krishna met the gopis and addressed Srimati Radhika as his life and soul. He told her, why aren't you speaking to me? Are you angry with me? Did I offend you? Oh, I realize now. You are omniscient. Therefore you know about my dream. My dearest, I dreamt that deserting you, I went to far off Dwarka and got married to many princesses there and had many children through them. So Krishna was thinking that Srimati Radhika, being omniscient, knew about his dream. Therefore, she became angry with him. Now it's getting late, but this evening I'll give pleasure to you. Then he threw flowers at her and briskly looked around, embraced her, and briskly looking around, embraced her and kissed her. Seeing Krishna dressed as a cowherd boy and hearing his flute, milk started to flow from Devaki's breast. Rukmini and Jambavati fainted. Driven by the lust, old Padmavati ran towards Krishna along with Satyabhama. But Kalindi, with the help of Uddhava, stopped them. While tending the cows, Krishna saw the ocean from a distance and mistook it to be the Jamuna. He called all his friends to join him in water sport in the Jamuna. Shridam, Subal, Arjun, where are you? Come. Let our cows drink this sweet water, and we will swim and play in this cool flowing water of Jamuna. As he came close to the bank of the ocean, Krishna saw the city of Dwarka and became extremely surprised. Balaram told him, "My dear Lord of Vaikuntha, try to remember that you have now descended to reduce the burden of this earth due to the prayers of the demigods. Therefore, please protect the devotees and annihilate the demons. Help Yudhishthir to perform sacrifice." So, in this way, Balaram reminded Krishna about his responsibilities as Jugavatar. Baladev continued, "You established Yudhishthir as the monarch of this earth, but he became afraid of demons like Anushalva. Therefore, please go there with the Jadavas and annihilate those demons. They are troubling Yudhishthir because he is dear to you." Shri Krishna became angry hearing that and said, Krishna, hearing these words from Balaram, he became influenced by Viraraj, the mellow of chivalry, and his Kshatriya spirit started to
Why is Padmavati affected by that particular feeling, scratching that's given by lust?
Why? Well, Krishna is the transcendental Cupid. Krishna arouses the lust in everyone, the real lust. Some can control it, some cannot. Padmavati could not. So couldn't Satyabhama. Those were more emotional. And then they had to be checked. And also, you see, Krishna was the grandson of Padmavati. So according in the Vedic culture, the grandmother and grandson, they have a kind of a relationship, a funny relationship like that of husband and wife. Shri Krishna became angry hearing that and said, "Brother Balaram, Anushala is so insignificant that I alone can kill him." Looking around, Krishna then remembered himself and as the Lord of the Jadavas. Then he remembered that he was sleeping in his palace. He became surprised and doubtful, seeing his flute in his hand, and Balaram and himself dressed as cowherd boys, tending cows on the bank of the ocean. Smiling, Balaram explained everything to Krishna, and after taking bath in the ocean, they returned to the palace, riding on Garuda's back. Krishna saw that his mother and all his queens were there, but Satyabhama was absent. When they returned, everyone was there in the palace, but Satyabhama was missing. So Krishna, Krishna asked Uddhava about Satyabhama. Uddhava said, "My lord, during your pastimes in Nava Vrindavan, Kamsa's mother Padmavati, who was watching your activities from a distance along with Devaki, Rukmini and other queens, commented, 'You Devaki, devoid of piety, you unfortunate Rukmini, O lowly Satyabhama, can't you see Krishna's condition? Now you give up your pride for your good fortune and try to perform severe austerities to become maidservant of those cowherd girls.'" So she didn't spare this opportunity to insult Devaki and Rukmini and Satyabhama, and telling them, "Oh, you all think that you all are so puffed up, thinking about your elevated position as Krishna's mother and Krishna's queen. But see how Krishna is behaving with the statues of those gopis." So you can well imagine what kind of relationship he has with them. So you're not even fit to become the maidservant of the gopis. So better you perform some austerities so that someday you can become the maidservant of these gopis. So Satyabhama was hurt. So it will come to that. Mother Devaki replied, "You fool, this is not at all surprising. In the past, I performed austerities along with Vasudev to receive Krishna as my son. But Nanda and Jashoda prayed to Brahma only for devotion, and they attained even a higher position than us due to their devotion. They brought up Krishna with affection. Krishna's attitude towards them is very, very appropriate. This attitude is very dear to me also. Rukmini said, the gopis gave up all attachment for everything in this life and the life after. They gave up their husbands and children and served Krishna with intense love. Their loving relation with Krishna is a mystery even to us. That love is the subject of our constant meditation. Therefore, Krishna's attachment to the gopis, being greater than us, is quite appropriate. Because we are his married wives, we serve him with awe and reverence. But the gopis serve him out of their pure love for him, which is free from all religious and moral considerations. Huh? Yeah, sure.
In this passage, Devaki replies to Karuna, "You fool." Of course, that might seem like a strong word. I was wondering if you'd explain what word it is in Sanskrit and not the connotation of it.
Yeah, the word used is mudhe. Yeah.
Uneducated.
No, mudha means fool. Mudha. Mudha and to feminine in feminine gender it's
Is it used among ladies in friendly
Well, I mean, Padmavati is playing such a role here. And I mean, she's such a character that she deserves some address like that. The superior love of the gopis is not a matter of our envy. It is not proper for the inferiors to develop enmity towards someone who is much superior. Uddhava said, other queens approved these words of Rukmini, but Satyabhama could not tolerate that. And Satyabhama is so possessive. As I said, like Satyabhama is emotion personified. So she's so highly strung that any wrong note and she just throws a tantrum. Satyabhama could not tolerate that. She became upset and went to her room. Krishna became angry upon hearing that and ordered angrily, bring that foolish daughter of Satrajit here. Satyabhama's maidservants reported this to Satyabhama, and she got up from the ground and quickly came to her husband. Krishna chastised her angrily. You narrow-minded daughter of Satrajit, just as you were upset upon hearing that I gave the parijat flower to Rukmini, now you have become upset seeing my love for the gopis. Don't you know that I am completely submissive to the desire of the residents of Vraja? If, in order to make them happy, I have to reject all of you, then I am prepared to do that. So in this way, Krishna is establishing the position of the gopis in Vrindavan. Brahma mentioned in his prayer that I am not able to return the favor of the Brajavasis. That statement is not wrong, because I am extremely indebted to the Brajavasis. You may say that if I go to Vraja and stay there, then the debt will be repaid and they will become satisfied. In reply, I will say that I do not know whether their suffering due to my separation will be mitigated if I go to Vraja and stay there, because that pleasant union will increase their pain of separation. Just as a person who is burnt with fire feels relief with fire, similarly I try to relieve the Brajavasis' anguish due to separation with separation. Anguish due to separation with separation. Yes.
This example of relieving fire with fire isn't familiar to me. I don't know if it's an Indian.
You see, subtle fire is poison.
Subtle fire?
Poison is subtle fire.
Oh.
Right? So when somebody gets bitten by a snake, or even you can give a very practical example also. When someone gets burned, if you dip him, or if you throw water, what will happen?
Supposed to cool it.
No.
In the West now, they say if you get burned, immediately cold water is the best thing. That's what they say in the West.
In the West, they have everything upside down.
Inoculation injected into, in order to undo the poison impression.
Yeah.
That is one example for the
What?
West. Inoculation.
Yes. Yes.
poison is injected into the patient's body in order to undo the poison already in
Right, that's what I said. Like when someone is bitten by a snake, he is given poison to counteract that poison. So when someone is burned, some hot stuff is applied to cure it. And it's like that. Similarly, Krishna feels that after such intense separation, if they meet Krishna, then probably they'll fail, their hearts will fail. They'll die out of that excitement. Or Krishna is saying that separation, that intense burning sensation of separation cannot be mitigated by union. So therefore Krishna actually tries to mitigate that by separation itself. Where is that? Anguish, relieve the Vrajavasa's anguish due to separation, with separation. Besides that, there is no possible remedy. If someone asks why I left such great lovers and made them feel such intense pain of separation, in reply I will say, even in union, they experience some unique emotion and become oblivious of themselves. In union and in separation, I am unable to take care of their welfare. Even in union, they experience intense pain due to the anxiety of future separation. When I disappear, sometimes they become like dead and sometimes become mad due to the blazing fire of separation. They mistake a tamal tree to be me and embrace it and kiss it. Therefore, whether I stay in Vraja or stay away from Vraja, it means the same. So this is actually a very important point. Why Vipralambha and Sambhog in that platform is same. And sometimes, actually according to our understanding, that Vipralambha or separation is even more relishable than union. Because in separation, the feeling of union is already there. Even the feeling of union becomes even more intense. Or through separation, one gets the lover more completely. You may question why I got married to you all, Krishna is saying. Actually, when I was in Mathura, I did not have any desire to get married. However, when I heard that Rukmini had decided to give up her life if she could not get me, I stole her. But when I saw her, I remembered the gopis and I became very much afflicted. In order to become free from that affliction and seeing the resemblance in number of you all with the gopis who perform Katyayani Vrata, I married all of you. How painful it is. I cannot even describe the joy of the pastimes I performed in Vraja. What to speak of performing such pastimes? Sri Badarayani, who is as dear to me as the Vrajavasis, will describe a part of those pastimes to his disciple Parikshit. Balaram told Krishna about Narad's presence at the door. Krishna asked with a smile, why Narad is not coming? Why Narad is not coming in as usual? Who stopped him at the gate today? Uddhava said, my lord, it is his own shame. It is his own feeling of shame and fear that is preventing him from coming in. Krishna personally went to the door and brought Narad in and told him, you benefited me immensely today due to the remembrance of the dear ones. Although one feels endless lamentation and pain at first, in the long run it becomes even more pleasing than the joy of union. Then the heart feels satisfied with a sense of completeness. O sage among the demigods, reminding me of the gopis today, you benefited me immensely. Therefore I have become very pleased with you, and I want to grant you a boon according to your desire. Narad started to offer prayers to the Lord, singing his transcendental names related to his pastimes in Vraja. He then asked, my Lord, please grant me the boon that no one ever becomes satisfied with your mercy, devotion and love. That no one will ever become satisfied with your mercy, with your devotion for you and love for you. The Lord replied, Narad, what kind of boon did you ask? Everyone knows that no one ever becomes satisfied with devotion. This is the natural characteristic of devotion. Therefore, you ask some other boon from me. Narad started to dance in ecstasy and asked, My Lord, please let me constantly drink the nectar of your holy name and distribute them to everyone, everywhere. This is the first boon. And the second one is, whoever hears, chants, touches, or holds in his heart the land of your pastimes will be blessed with loving devotional service at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. The Lord granted Narad those boons. So today we have some more time for questions. Yes.
Before reading, when Krishna called his friends to bathe in the Purna, Arjun was also mentioned in that. How does Arjun fit with Vrindavan?
Yeah, there is another Arjun who is a cowherd boyfriend. Yes.
Devotion, it's mentioned that devotion can be defined by its natural characteristics, Lakshana Vritti. Here, natural characteristics also mentioned that one becomes satisfied with that. Is there a saying here?
Dissatisfaction is atripti. The Sanskrit word. Yes?
What is the nature of yoga maya cover even Krishna? Krishna is underneath of yoga maya.
Yeah. Krishna allows Yogamaya to make him forget. You see, otherwise Krishna could not relish his pastimes. So this is the kind of special power he gave to Yogamaya. Therefore, Yogamaya is called the one who can make the impossible possible. Aghatan Ghatan Potirashi, who is very expert in making impossible to happen. Yes, some question?
How is this statement that the pastime will be recalled to his disciples? What is this statement? And
Yeah.
Parikshit is recalling.
Krishna is predicting or foretelling that in future my dear devotee Badarayani means the son of Sukadeva Goswami, son of Vasudev. Sukadeva Goswami will narrate these pastimes of Vrindavan to Parikshit Maharaj. So he is forecasting that.
This is the conversation which is after. The Parikshit telling his whole pastime to Uttara, which is after.
Yeah. Well, you see, in the spiritual platform, the time doesn't have such orderly kind of sequence. It gets mixed up. Right? Like when, like Krishna's pastimes are over, but they are again transported to Dwarka. You see, although so we have to understand that it is some Dwarka in some other universe. Right? Krishna's pastimes in this universe is over, but they are eternally going on in other universes and also eternally going on in the spiritual sky. Right? And even in this universe also Krishna's pastimes are going on eternally. Only those with purified vision can see that.
The sequence of events though is that this pastime took place before the conversation. So Krishna could have predicted it, and the conversation takes place.
No, his point is correct. You see, Krishna's pastimes are over. Right? Parikshit Maharaj is telling his mother the story of Brihad Bhagavatamrta. So his point is that how come Krishna is predicting that in future Badarayani will tell that to Parikshit. Right?
So, didn't this
Huh?
happen prior?
Yeah, right.
I know.
Wasn't this prior to Vyasadeva speaking to Parikshit?
Anyway, if you read it, you'll understand. Like this is, you see, what is Srimad Brihad Bhagavatamrta?
After the speaking.
Huh?
After the
Brihad Bhagavatamrta is a conversation between Jaimini and Jaimini and Janmejaya. So Parikshit Maharaj is also dead. So his son is hearing his pastimes. So Krishna's pastimes are already over in this planet. But here we are entering into Krishna's pastimes that's going on in Dwarka. Right? And from there, in that pastimes, Krishna is predicting that Parikshit will tell that. Sukadeva will tell that to Parikshit.
So his telling that.
So that's why my point is, when you are reading scriptures, when you are listening to scriptures, forget the concept of time. Let the time take its own course. Because Yogamaya can, make all kinds of arrangements.
Isn't the foretelling prior to Parikshit receiving the Bhagavatam?
No, because how can Parikshit tell his mother, Uttara? This is Parikshit telling. Brihad Bhagavatamrta is what Parikshit is telling his mother, Uttara.
Yeah, but that could have happened before the Bhagavatam was spoken. What he's telling. It could have all happened before.
Yeah, right. My point is that Krishna's pastimes are over, but somehow they entered into Krishna's pastimes again.
They means who?
They means Narad Muni. Anyway, as I said, don't bother about time, because you'll simply get confused. Let it be just dive deep into it.
So I'm not
And
confused
accept.
if I see it as part of the pastimes that took place in Dwarka.
Okay, then you can take it as this is okay, fine. What Narad is telling is before Parikshit's appearance. Will it satisfy you? Okay, fine. Answer the Prabhu.
Narada, he had the benediction, or he got a benediction, right? A boon.
Yeah.
That he would be allowed to distribute the pastimes in the name of the Lord. Right?
Yeah.
Now, why didn't he ask for example, to have the benediction that he might have some relationship with Krishna and Vrindavan?
Why didn't he ask?
Yeah.
Well, he already got it. Because that's Narad Muni's mellow. He doesn't, you see, whatever is one's own mellow is, he considers that to be the greatest. That's the best mellow. That's the highest mellow. So Narad, he's a preacher and he likes to preach. He doesn't want to dance with Krishna in Vrindavan.
But he is in Vrindavan, though, right?
He can go to Vrindavan.
No, but he also is in Vrindavan. Didn't he say as a creeper or
Narad, no, that was Brahma.
Brahman?
Yeah. Narad is not Narad is not there.
Between friendship
I see. Yeah, it's the servitorship and something between servitorship and friendship. Mostly servitorship, actually. But Narad also entered into Vrindavan as Srinivas Acharya, as Srivas Thakur. So Narad Muni in Mahaprabhu's pastime, he's one of the Panchatattvas in Navadvip. Yes.
Uddhava, he entered into Vrindavan, has grass the gopis run on or something. Uddhava entered into Vrindavan, he came grass the gopis run or something.
Uddhava, yeah. He is near Kushum Sarovar.
I wanted to continue.
Okay.
Because I actually had a question based on what I said. So, if we are the followers of Narad Muni, and therefore we would also aspire to the same, just like the follower aspires, or whatever a great man does, right? That principle, that we would aspire to be in that mood, the mood that he said. Like sometimes we talk of Prabhupada's mood, he said that wasn't Prabhupada's mood, or this is Prabhupada's mood, and therefore we as his followers also want to be in a similar mood.
Yeah, generally that principle is true, but it may change also. Like for example, the spiritual master may be in some mellow, but the disciple can be in some other mellow. Like you see, Narad Muni generally does the. You see, he is not the ultimate spiritual master of the individual in many cases. Like he may bring one into the path, but then the disciple may be handed over to the group that he belongs to. For example, in that respect, Mahaprabhu's associates are also Narad Muni's disciples, as much as we are, right? But among Mahaprabhu's associates, most of them are actually in Madhurya. General understanding is the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are in Madhurya, especially the followers of Rupa Goswami. The followers of Nityananda Prabhu are in Shakharash.
So the same idea could apply the other way. In other words, a person could be aspiring or would be a follower of Rupa Goswami, but yet he may necessarily.
Yes, sure. The
Madhurya Ras.
Yes, the example is Shyamananda Prabhu. He was a disciple of Gauridas Pandit. Gauridas Pandit was in Shakharash. He was one of the 12 Gopals, Shubal. So he is in Shakharash. But Shyamananda Prabhu was transferred to the group of Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami. So from Shakharash, he went into Madhurya Rash. He was transferred to Madhurya Rash.
But doesn't imply that he changed his rasa, implies that his rasa was actually Madhurya Rasa? Because we say that the living entities relationship.
So it can be considered in that way also. But in whichever way we look, like the ultimate consideration is that the mellows the spiritual master's mellow doesn't have to be the mellow for the disciple. Because if the disciple doesn't belong exclusively to the spiritual master in his mellow, then the spiritual master can hand him over to where he actually belongs to. And a very nice example regarding that is actually given by Bhakti Vinod Thakur in Jaiva Dharma. There are two boys, Vijay and Brajanath. Vijay was in Madhurya Ras and Brajanath was in Shakharash. And they were initiated by the same spiritual master. But because of their difference of mellows, they saw the spiritual master as two different personalities. Vijay saw his spiritual master as Lolita, and Brajanath saw his spiritual master as Shubal. So here we have to understand that their original link is with Lolita and Shubal. And accordingly, wherever their original link is, accordingly they saw the spiritual master.
There is a story of Narada entering into the rasa dance by the mercy of the devotees.
I see.
Being judged into Krishna and then attaining form.
Yeah, that's possible.
Still, that story exists.
No, that's possible. Like I just remembered another story where Kamsa was dipped in a well and he became an old woman.
That's why, one of us did that.
Yeah.
That's why he would never come to Vrindavan to personally attack Krishna.
Yeah. So, yeah, Hare Krishna.
I was curious how such Brahma responded to the news that the residents of Vrindavan were really most dear to Krishna's heart and that he was always only thinking of them. And what we don't have the response. If she's already gotten upset just by hearing the words of from Bhakti, then how Krishna is telling herself, I really only care about the gopis especially, and I only married you because you reminded me of the gopis.
So that shows that Satyabhama is a perfect woman.
It's not a compliment for the ladies here.
I didn't mean to.
When Krishna dreams, does it actually happen?
When Krishna dreams?
Yes, it creates such where
It's inconceivable. We don't understand. We don't understand what Krishna's sleep is. We don't understand what Krishna's dream is. Can you imagine Krishna's glance create Krishna's expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Krishna? Mahavishnu just glances at Prakriti and the whole universe becomes manifest. Right? That Mahavishnu lies in the causal ocean, and as we breathe, each bubble out of his breathing is an universe. Right? So, is there any way of understanding what Krishna's sleep actually is like? It's impossible. His sleep is not like us. Our sleep is plunging into the mode of ignorance. But that's not the case with Krishna. Anyway, we'll take my word back. I didn't really mean that. I didn't want to glorify the women. So, answer the problem.
Getting back to the story in Jaiva Dharma, two brothers, and they see the spiritual master, one as Sukha, and the other
Lalita.
Now, what is the spiritual master? In that instance, in what position is the spiritual master actually, or is it, you follow what I'm saying? Is he necessarily Madhurya Rasa, or is it, you follow, just as Krishna said, in whichever form or in whichever way a person worships me and approaches me, I reveal myself to them, I reciprocate accordingly.
Yeah. Okay, Bhaktivinoda Thakur did not explain that part. But I can just tell you my understanding, if it's worth anything.
Sure.
The ultimate consideration is actually the living entity's own bhava, own mellow, own relationship with Krishna. And that is the main consideration. And accordingly, he'll develop his attachment to some individuals in Braja. Now, if the spiritual master is not that personality himself, right, then the spiritual master will hand him over to that personality to whom he actually belongs to. Say here, this Babaji, just in case the Babaji is not Lalita himself, then what will he do is he will hand his disciple over to Lalita Devi and tell her that, look, here is one from your camp, from your Jutha, from your group, and I happen to have rescued him, so please take charge of him.
Okay, my question follows. So, if the spiritual is via media, does handing it over mean, like in the material where we hand the things from here to there, or does it mean because he's a via media, therefore the disciple sees through the spiritual method as a via media?
Yeah, sure. Like here, as
my question.
I have to understand.
When we say hand over, the first thing, take them out of the room and put them over here.
Right.
As opposed to seeing,
So, okay, now here I'll make 2 points. One is, yes, I agree with your point. Because, like, two personalities saw the spiritual master as two different personalities. Right? So, that shows that they are actually seeing the spiritual master as a via medium. Through the spiritual master, they are actually seeing the spiritual sky. And they are seeing the spiritual master as the personality who they actually belong to. Right? That's one consideration. And I'll give you the next example is with Shyamananda Prabhu. Hridaya Chaitanya Prabhu, Shyamananda Prabhu actually belonged to Madhurya Ras, say to Rupa Goswami, to Jiva Goswami, right? Now, that doesn't mean that he rejected his spiritual master, previous spiritual master. Here the spiritual master became very angry with him when he got to know that he actually changed his spiritual master. He thought that he changed his spiritual master. So he became very angry. He came all the way to Vrindavan from Bengal, right? And he started to beat him up. But then Radharani appeared to him and chastised Gauridas Pandit. He said that I accepted him in my group and you became so envious. You became so angry. So then Gauridas Pandit recognized his mistake, right? But although Gauridas Pandit handed him over to Jiva Goswami, but Jiva Goswami was kind of withdrawn about the whole thing, and Shyamananda Prabhu still maintained his relationship with Gauridas Pandit as spiritual master, as his spiritual master. So in the spiritual life, it's all harmonious. Even if there is diversity, but still in diversity there is unity. So I think I'll take the last question. Okay, last two questions. No.
How can we understand spiritual master?
How can? Because the spiritual master is the spiritual master is a spirit soul, right? So you see, and our relationship is spiritual. So it is this relation. So spiritual master is an eternal living entity. We are eternal living entities. We are developing a spiritual relationship. So naturally, our relationship is eternal, provided we stay on the path. We don't deviate from the path.
If there is no end to our asking and desiring for more and more mercy and love, then there is nothing called Purna Kripa.
Who said that there is no room for asking for more mercy and more love?
You say that there is no end.
No end.
End of it. We go on asking more and more.
Right.
Faith one has got.
Okay, fine. So you're asking whether there is no state where the mercy is complete. Yes. The unique aspect of the spiritual nature is that the more complete the mercy becomes, the more you want it.
It's not complete.
Absolute means no end. Right? Can you limit absolute? If you say that this is the end, then will it remain absolute? Can you say this is the end of absolute? Then it's not absolute anymore. Right? So absolute means endless. Absolute means limitless. Therefore, in the spiritual platform, nothing is complete in that sense. In a material sense, complete means right.
Final, nothing more.
Finite. In the material sense, complete means finite. But the spiritual nature is infinite. So how can infinity be limited? How can you limit infinity? If you limit infinity, it's not infinity anymore. Okay, I'll take the last question.
I actually have a question. It was a comment on yesterday's discussion about how Krishna could be in Buddhism and work at the same time. I think my view on it. And it describes that when Krishna was being taken from them by Pura, manifested in his Vishnu form, and in that form, Vasudeva went with the Pura, and then no Krishna stayed in Buddhism.
Right. That's true.